Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Super Sessions with Suen, where our goal is to inspire, motivate, and empower you to always show up as the super version of yourself. This episode is extra special because this is our Father's Day episode, and I'm so excited because for the first time in history, there is a man in our super seat. Well, we had to make sure that we had a very special episode for our dads or men out there. And we have a special guest, dynamic father figure, father to many. His name is Mr. Garold Hamilton. He is an author of a best-selling book, Get a Youth's Bible. He's an activist, a philanthropist, senior vice president and healthcare practice leader, and also the CEO of DTR Foundation. Stay right there. We will be right back. Let's get a quick break.
Do you have a story to share? Maybe an experience or information that can transform somebody's life? Maybe you want to grow your business by writing a book. JWG Publishing House has helped hundreds of authors to turn their dream into publishing reality. Publishing a book without the knowledge of the process can be very frustrating. Not to worry, our award-winning team will patiently walk you through the process, from idea to cover to the end product. And get this, you will own 100% of your royalties. We are the only authentic independent publisher you will ever need. So what are you waiting on? Call us today at 561-412-7772. We're waiting to serve you.
All right, welcome back, Super Peeps. As I said, we have an awesome episode for you today, the Father's Day special edition episode with Mr. Garold Hamilton. How are you, Mr. Hamilton?
I'm doing well. Thank you for allowing me, the first male to be on your show. I'm excited, super excited to talk to you and talk about being a father. It's something that I think it's one of the greatest joy, of my life, and something that I don't, I really enjoy doing. It's something that's my moment of laughter. That's my home, my happiness and my joy.
That is so awesome to hear from a man. That fatherhood is a joy to them. And while we're on that note, Garold, what is the best part of fatherhood for you?
It's funny. It's really seeing your kids soar and seeing some of your lessons and your teaching manifest in them, and that's it's seeing how they're able to take it, sometimes unwillingly, but you could see the fruits of it because you see the decision making and you see how they react with challenges and it's this it's just this inner happiness when that occur, like, because that you've done well, you've done your job. Yes. So I think that's one of the greatest joy for me, and to see them happy, to see their they see them excel, see them achieving their dreams, and really just see them as a better version of you, as whether they're male or female. That's exactly the what you want to see.
Yes, that is really what we all want as parents, right? Our kids to be better than we are.
Absolutely.
And, while we're on that, you're a girl dad, boy dad?
It's funny. Well, I think I'm a more girl dad than I'm usually, it's funny, but I'm usually tougher on my boys, 2 boys and 2 girls. And then, the girls tend to have their fingers, have me twist around their fingers. So that's one of the challenges that I have is just saying no to all my kids, but saying no to the girls, or to the daughters, are it's always a challenge. You just want to give them, and like for me, because to be honest, one of the things that I always try to do is to make sure that they know that they have a man that treats them right and give them all what they need, so that they don't have to go out and basically go out and think that they should accept less. And that's something that's important to me. So that's the reason why I always try to, even though of course I'm a giving dad to them, it's really the reason behind it that's important, and just explain to them, this is the reason why I do that, because I want you to understand that this is how you should be treated. And that's how, that's how it should be. And that's how men should treat women. And that's the reason why I make sure that, I'm always, taking care of them, and really doing what I think I should be doing as a dad.
Yes. Well, that's very good to hear, because I mean, all children need their dads. They always say girls is for their dads, and girls, we really need that father figure in our life consistently, from early, and so we don't make certain mistakes as life goes, So I'm happy that you are a great example of that, and just keep it up and share that with other dads out there that have girls, especially.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. And one of the things, respect to, and it's funny. So, my old daughter, Paris, she's at Howard University now. She's a sophomore in finance. And one of the things that was kind of, deep and that actually got to me when I spoke to her and said, I said, what do you like? What do you enjoy most about me, about our relation, being a dad? And she said to me, because you always have time to talk to me.
Wow.
And that was so profound, because I didn't understand, and that's something that I always do. I always take the time out. It doesn't matter how busy I am. If she calls, I'm going to answer. And if she needs air, I'm going to be listening. And, if she needs a shoulder to cry on, I'm going to be there for her to cry on. So, it's the coolest thing that she calls me for absolutely everything, which is just the most amazing thing. It's just like, did you call your mom? And, I'm the first call, which is just amazing, because that, I would think that it would be the other way around, but it's me, basically, making sure that I give her the time that she needs, and making sure that, it's funny, every time, like I would go and see her at Howard, and she would be so happy. Like, I'm going to take you dinner. And she would be giddy with happiness. And that's like, that alone, like, that's my joy, like doing that and doing the things that they appreciate. And that's, it's so, it cannot be understated how much, time you can give to your kids. Just give them as much time as you can.
So is time more important than money?
Absolutely. Money would be, the bottom of the ladder when it comes to your children. And it's really showing them that you're always there, showing them that you're willing to sacrifice whatever time that needs. I never miss birthdays. Like, I'm always there. And that's something that, showing up is, so important to me. I never missed any important, I try not to miss any important occasion as well. So it's, like now my, Paris is, she would be doing a presentation, and, and Sid would be doing something at school. I always try to make sure, I travel a whole lot, for my work, which is, sometimes unfortunate, but sometimes what I try to do is to make sure that, I commit to those important occasions, that making sure that, I'm going to show up, for, and for my sons as well. So that's something that I think that's extremely important. One of the things that I want to drive home in terms of my personality and how I grew up in a community in which, all of people were a father figure to me. So many people, that was older, took their time to be patient and to teach me and to challenge me and really to groom me. So my mantra is really try to do the same, with
Yes.
respect to, it doesn't matter if it's my child or somebody else's child. So I'm a mentor to a whole lot of kids, which, it's funny, I'm a mentor to a Howard University engineering student. And it's Candy's mom called me and said, "Hey, Damani need a mentor. I met his dad, and his dad is cool. Just met her, and I would like you to be his mentor." And I called him, and I have like a cadence in which monthly I go and see him. I make sure that I put him in the right put him in the right position in terms of what he's doing, because he's doing engineering, and he's soaring so much. Straight A student, so proud of him. And like, for me, not only, seeing my kids soar, but seeing people who I can have make an impact, as a father figure also is important to me. So that's something that I try to do, to most kids that I get to be a part of their life or encounter, so
Wow.
that's just me.
Well, that is impressive. That is just, I mean, every man should take a page out of your book, because it's a village that
It
helps
does.
raise children. We have to keep that in mind, and that experience that you have growing up and the way you are that example now, is that how did DTR Foundation? I'm trying to make the connection here because
So
it's
so that's growing, it's funny. So my dad, coming from my dad, I'm from a I'm from a ghetto community. But one thing that, coming from that community, my dad was always like a proud dad. So he'd always try to make sure that we have everything that we need. He wasn't there all my life. That's our, when I was like 10 or 11, he, my dad, my parents broke up. But when he was there, like, he will always make sure that, he was a salesman. He sells ice cream, and he was one of the best at what he does. And people love him. People love him because he's kind. He always take time out to talk to youths. That's something that he does, and something that he try to make a part of his everyday life. So if it's not, and so also given. So he would give. I remember when he used to sell ice cream, a lot of people would say to me, "Hey, a lot of time I didn't have lunch money, but your dad was able to just give me lunch for free." And he was selling at my high school, and like all my friends would absolutely love him and adore him, and they still do. So it's that given mentality that he has, and that's his mantra, is really, so seeing that, it's really something that I see that that became a part of me also, that giving back to the community, and really giving back to a community that actually that's partially responsible for who I am as well. So I would be remiss not to look back on my development, and how important each and everybody from that community was. The community is called Charlene, and that's the reason why I developed Charlene. So I developed my foundation so that I could actually formalize something where I could give back to my community. And to be honest, DTR Foundation actually been given back to Jamaica on a whole. So it's not only my community. I was able to expand it beyond my community, and really do great things to continue to give back. And it's really, to be honest, it came from my dad, because that's how he was. That's the type of person he was.
Look at that.
He is, and
Yeah,
he still is. So he's still
right.
alive. So he still is.
Yeah, so you really have to really look at how you are and how you're going into your kids, like how you're rubbing off on your kids, because your dad was a giving person, and
Yeah.
he took time, and that's exactly what you're doing now. And
Yeah. And he, it's funny. My dad used to make me feel like a superhero. And I tell you, some different situation. I remember when I passed my common entrance exam, and I went to college. At that time, it came out in the paper, but there's a central location that you would pick up your results first.
yes,
And I remember arriving to the location, and my dad was already there. It was my first choice. I was 10, so I wasn't expected to pass.
wow,
But for some reason he had that expectation. He was already there. And I remember when I arrived, he lifted me up like in the air. And it was just like the joy, I feel like, my dad, really toasting me and making me feel like, a giant. And that was like so important to me. And that's something that I remember. I was 10 years old. And then, playing, I remember going to Manning's, which is my high school, when I was 11 years old. And, before I was about 9, and I went over there to see him. Mm-hmm. And he was amongst a group of footballers, and he said, "Hey, this is my son. He's going to be the captain of Manning's team when he eventually comes to Manning's." And I'm like, wow, like, these are, the stuff that you remember. And fast forward, 4, 6, 7 years, I went to Manning's and captained the Dakasa Cup football team, which was the wildest thing ever. And I remember every game that I'd play, I used to go to one of the stands because my dad would be there and he would be shouting at the loudest of everything, and his son cannot do anything wrong. He was just one of my biggest supporter, and that's something that I always remember and stand with me, forever, because that's the support that you need, knowing that you have somebody who's a cheerleader, somebody who thinks that you can do anything and can be anything. And that's exactly how I feel, because he makes me feel like a superhero. I think that's just so that's how I want my kids to feel. I want them to think that they can do absolute anything, and anything that they set their mind to, they can achieve.
So would you say that is your superpower? What is your superpower?
So as I said, my superpower is really empowerment, and how I empower my kids and empower, people I encounter with. It's sometimes it's more than what you say. It's sometimes your action and them seeing the type of person you are, how you navigate challenges, and how you rise to occasions. And those are some of the stuff that I really share. I try to share with people and share. And I share it on a daily basis. Yesterday, I share a post that's talking about, sometimes, you're going through life and you don't have everything figured out.
Yeah.
But it's okay. It's okay not to have it figured out. It's okay to make it up as you go. But the real drive and success is really trying to push on, no matter the circumstances, keeping your eyes on the goal and just push on. Because I think that, if you want success, success will come. That's exactly how I feel, and that's what I impart on my kids. That's what I impart on people who come into contact with me, impart to people who are part of my network, and a part of DTR Foundation as well. That's something that's important to me.
Well, that is just such a sentiment, Garold. Like I'm very impressed with you, and I just want people to see that. Listen, the more you empower your kids, the more you speak into them, the more you affirm them from early. Look how early your dad started. Things will manifest in their life, and that is your superpower. And
Absolutely.
I'm so happy that you're sharing that. Before we go, I really want to get into the Ghetto Youth's Bible and how that came along and that journey. Please,
So the book, the genesis of the book is really, it's really a memoir that I call it a guide. It's a guide for people who are from my community, or communities similar to mine, from underserved community, but also people who who grew up in challenges. And the book is I remember growing up, I didn't have a guide. I didn't have I didn't have a path, a book, or mentor, to really show me and navigate, this whole thing that you call life. Coming from a underserved community where, eventually I was, a single mother home, but also coming from a situation in which I didn't have enough resources, to do what I wanted to do. I was smart, but I didn't really understand how to put everything together. And, I realized that, going through it, having serious challenges. I had a bike accident when I was 18 years old that I had 12 surgeries from
Hold
that.
that thought. Hold that thought. You had 12 surgeries?
12 surgeries on my knee.
Okay. We will be right back, guys. We have to get into this 12 surgeries. We will be right back to hear Garold talk about these 12 surgeries here.
Do you have a story to share? Maybe an experience or information that can transform somebody's life? Maybe you want to grow your business by writing a book. JWG Publishing House has helped hundreds of authors to turn their dream into publishing reality. Publishing a book without the knowledge of the process can be very frustrating. Not to worry, our award-winning team will patiently walk you through the process, from idea to cover to the end product. And get this, you will own 100% of your royalties. We are the only authentic independent publisher you will ever need. So what are you waiting on? Call us today at 561-412-7772. We're waiting to serve you.
All right, welcome back, everyone. And we had asked our guest to hold his thought, Mr. Garold, about this 12 surgeries, the bike accident. Whew, I know there's some supernatural element there because you are sitting in front of us today. So please elaborate on that.
So I had a bike accident and my kneecap was split in two. I remember when I went into the Sablamar Public Hospital, they didn't have an X-ray at the time, so they sent me home. So on a piece of board, my feet on a piece of board swollen. They asked me to go to Black River the next day because at the time they had an X-ray. It was in excruciating pain. I was able to. My mom wasn't in Jamaica at the time. She was in the Cayman Islands, and I had an aunt who was the matron of the University of Western Hospital. So immediately she heard about it, and she said, "You have to get to the hospital. You have to get to UE, which is about 3 hours away." So they put me on a bus the next day. Mm-hmm. So with my foot wrapped on a piece of board, they put me on a bus. Went to the they took me straight to surgery. The moment I got there, I went straight into surgery because it was that they needed to go in and fix what they can. They tried to fix my kneecap. They sewed it together. They riveted together. Thought it was a successful surgery.
Yes.
I went. They discharged me like 2 days after. Went to my aunt's house, and I remember in the night I was feeling some excruciating pain, and I didn't understand what was going on. Then when I woke up, and it was when it was coming out, when the light was coming out, I saw that my whole cast, it was pristine white, was colored, and I'm like, wow. So when I woke up, it was like blood all over. So I had to go back into the hospital. Found out that it was an infection. They infected this, so they had to go in to clear the infection, and then they did it a number of times. It was unsuccessful. They decided that they had to take my kneecap out completely after the sixth surgery. Then they went in like a number of times to clean it, to do all sort of stuff, and it was just
a number of years.
This was like over a 3 months period, and this was 3 months before I actually went to do engineering. So I was in the hospital up to a month into my first year of engineering. I was actually in the hospital. I couldn't actually travel to Trinidad to do engineering because I was in the hospital. So this is what went on. But one of the things I remember when they took my kneecap out, the doctor said to me, "Hey, Garold, I know you play chess," because I used to play a lot of chess. And I know you play football, which is soccer, but I think you would have to stick to chess because I don't think you'll be able to play football again. Yeah. And that was tough because I was playing football all my life. So that was one of the challenges. But one of the things about it in terms of really going through those challenges, and that's the book, what came out in the book is this. Listen, doctors, will tell you that, will give you their medical advice.
Right.
But, if you have that sense of purpose, and also if you have prayer on your side, because I pray a lot to make sure that, that I'm asking the Lord for what I want. And I wanted to play football again. And that's something that I thought I would never do. And I remember, I went to Trinidad a month and a half late. The dean said to me, I'm completely out of my mind. The school has already started. It's halfway. There's no way you can actually make it. And I went up against all those challenges, and still graduated second in my class, and didn't fail any courses, and went on to play for the university team before I graduated, and do all the stuff that basically, even against medical advice, against what people said that I couldn't do. And that's one of the, that's stuff that I wanted to share. I wanted to share through my book, to people could say that, listen, it doesn't matter your circumstances and where you're from. It doesn't matter the challenges or the roadblocks that you're going to encounter in your way. If you have faith, if you believe, and if you push and work hard, you definitely could achieve all that that you set your mind on. And here I am today as a testament to say that, listen, I've been through it, but I'm here standing tall. I'm here still pushing. I'm here still achieving and gaining, and try to reinvent myself, even through already being successful. So these are some of the stuff that I want to show people that are from my background, that listen, it doesn't matter where your background, it doesn't matter where you start. Yes. It's how you end, and how you finish is important, and that's what the book talks about.
Wow, that is just so touching, and it's just you deciding to show up as the super version of yourself, no matter what you went through on this journey. You see what this man gone through, Super B. You see what he has gone through, and he's still showing up as a great father, a great leader. This is why we have the Super Seat, to showcase these type of people in our lives, and to inspire us and motivate us that we can do it too. We
Absolutely.
can do it too. And before we end our session, girl, I would love for you to give us a super tip. Give the dads out there a super tip of how to show up as the best father they can to their children, the best leaders in their family, the best husbands. Let's stick to the, I don't want to go on too much, but I know it's Father's Day, but yeah, how can they do that? You're doing it after everything you went through. What do you have to share for them to do?
I think one of the things that, so one of the things that I showing up, as I said, it's important as a father. But one of the things that I always try to impart on many of the, my friends who are father, and, some of them are, have challenges because, they might not be at home, with their kids there. But one of the things that I could say, listen, whatever you have to make the sacrifice for your kids. If it's even sacrificing yourself and sacrificing, sacrificing situation that can help you to have a better relationship with their mother, because that's important, because that would help you to be a better father also. It's something that I learned. It wasn't easy because, obviously I have kids, not, with other mothers. So I wanted to make sure that irrespective of what I do, I show respect to them, and making sure that my kids understand that I respect them, because that will have them, have your kids have better respect for you as well. And that's so important. So I'm never, something I think that's important. I have a great relationship with my, with the child mother, because I want to make sure my kids understand that I do respect them, and I want them to respect me for that. So that's something that I think that's an important, for all, fathers who are not living with their kids. But even if you're not living with your kids, or even if you're living with your kids, showing up is one of the most important things. Just be there for them. Be that listening ears, and that's important. be that voice of comfort, which is so important. Be their person. That's so important. That's what, I'm hoping, and I'm seeing that my kids, see in me and see that, I'm going to be there, and I'm going to be the person that they would come to if they want to talk about something that's even controversial, because I'll be there, I'll be listening. And that's something that I think that's important, just to have that listening ears and just have that voice of reasoning, so that you could really, help them to choose, make the right choice, and be better persons, better adult, when they do grow up.
Yes. Wow. I just love that, girl. Like, super tip, everybody, be your kid's person. Dads out there, be their person, have time for them. And I'll echo what you said, which I think is so important for all the fathers out there that are not living with your kids or have multiple moms for their kids. Them call it multiple baby mother.
Yeah.
Have good relationships with those ladies. That, as he said, it will help them to have the children to have a solid relationship with their dads, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. So please let that resonate. Dads out there, let that resonate. And we're just so happy that we had you in our super seat today, Mr. Hamilton. We want everybody to get their hands on Get a Youth's Bible. You gotta read this story. I mean, bike accident, 12 surgery. I can't wait to get my hands on a copy. And I'm sure you'll have something special for the dads when we, for Father's Day. We'll let everybody know. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Okay, super peeps. That was the Father's Day edition, special edition episode with Mr. Garold Hamilton. I'm so happy that he was here in our super seat. Such a touching interview. Please just rewatch this as much as you can to get the nuggets that he shared on our YouTube channel. Oh, before I go, how do we find you? Please share.
So I'm on Instagram, Garold Hamilton, and Twitter at Garold Hamilton, Garold, as in Harold with a G, and DTRFoundation.com. On the DTR Foundation, you find more stuff about my Dreams to Reality Foundation, but also you could purchase my book also to Get the Youth's Bible on the foundation. So on the website.
Where can you get your book?
So www.dtrfoundation.com. You could purchase the book on the website as well.
Are you on Instagram, Facebook?
I'm on Instagram, Garold Hamilton, at Garold Hamilton. At Facebook, the same Garold Hamilton, and at Twitter, at Garold Hamilton as well.
Garold Hamilton. Okay, yes. Don't forget that name. Don't forget that name, everyone. We're so grateful again to have Mr. Garold Hamilton on in our super seat as our special guest for Father's Day. Take care, everyone, and have a blessed Father's Day. Do something nice for Dad this weekend. Thank you.
Do you have a story to share? Maybe an experience or information that can transform somebody's life. Maybe you want to grow your business by writing a book. JWG Publishing House has helped hundreds of authors to turn their dream into publishing reality. Publishing a book without the knowledge of the process can be very frustrating. Not to worry, our award-winning team will patiently walk you through the process, from idea to cover to the end product. And get this, you will own 100% of your royalties. We are the only authentic independent publisher you will ever need. So what are you waiting on? Call us today at 561-412-7772. We're waiting to serve you.